Hey guys, Blood Moon Bobby here, and today, Tuesday, the time I am making this video, I don't really have too much in store today. I mean, Mobile World Congress is over. I know that the new Star episode is out, and I haven't really been seeing it because I've been pretty under the weather the last couple of days, but things have been going a lot better for me. And so today I'm mainly keeping it to trailer reactions, which is one of my specialties. And these two trailers that I'm looking at today aren't exactly um they don't sound promising on the surface, although we could have gotten much worse. And that is, we're looking at two trailers of upcoming Disney reboots slash reimaginings, or in this particular video, the sequel to Mary Poppins. So let's actually go back, because I have actually quite a bit to say in terms of the background of Mary Poppins Returns. And the thing is, I remember even before we heard that they were making a sequel to Mary Poppins, I remember when AMC Movie Talk used to be around. It's now Collider Movie Talk. And they were having some sort of discussion about Disney reboots and sequels, which I know that's kind of a running joke with Disney these days of, oh, they have to make these live action like reboots and sequels because they make money and they don't really have a ton of ideas, and that's the only thing they can bank on. And as you know, I'm also one of the people that have given a lot of crap at Disney for not trying new things and being too safe. And but in terms of the reboots and sequels, I'm not really sure if I'm like the first, person to ask, other than I know why they make them. The only one I've seen so far was Cinderella, which was actually one of the better ones. But from what I hear, the newer ones are getting better. Like, I've heard Jungle Book was pretty good, but the ones that came before then, like Oz the Great and the Powerful and Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, weren't very well received. And like, even just like looking at Alice in Wonderland as a person who's a fan of Tim Burton, I'm not exactly impressed with like his idea of what the of what how Alice should be rebooted. And given how people didn't really go see its sequel, I'm guessing people went to go see it one weekend just because they were curious, and then they walked out, they were like, what the fuck is this? And then when they announced a sequel to Alice, nobody really cared. And so in the case of Mary Poppins, oh god, I was getting really sidetracked there. Anyway, back to like what I was hearing about on AMC Movie Talk. As my foot starts to fall asleep, I remember they were discussing, oh, what other sequels could they make? And John Campea, who I don't agree with everything Campea says, but I do really like his insights on the movie industry. And I watch his new show, the forgot the official name, but just look up John Campea on YouTube. You'll find. And I think he was the one who brought up Mary Poppins getting of movies he would like to see get sequels. Or was it somebody? Anyway, somebody said it. I remember Campea very specifically was saying, "Hey, Disney should do that." And me, and I'm guessing so many other people were just like, "No, no, no." And maybe I'm just so used to Disney making sequels that I'm just like, whatever, when they decide to do it on movies like Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland. But in the case of Mary Poppins, which was, which now I'm going on into another story, which I'll be totally honest, I didn't grow up with Mary Poppins, which is really weird because I grew up watching a lot of Disney movies as a kid. But Mary Poppins was not like one that I saw all that much. In fact, in my life, I've only seen the movie maybe 2 or 3 times. Like, the 3 times I remember watching it was, I remember when like my parents were going through their old recorded VHS tapes and Mary Poppins was on there. I watched it coming back on from a trip from a cross country race, mainly because it was a really long trip. And interestingly enough, that trip I also took Schindler's List, and even though Schindler's List was an amazing movie, it's not exactly the most uplifting film. So I was watching Mary Poppins and I didn't really get into it. And then I saw it more recently with my sister, and it was her first time seeing it. And I remember we liked it okay. We liked it more than we thought we would, although I'm not exactly a person cons- who who can sit for a movie that doesn't have too much of a plot. Like, I know the idea of the original was basically the Banks parents need to spend more time with their kids, and um but I don't know, I didn't really get into it. I love the songs though. They're, in my opinion, some of the Sherman Brothers' best work. But as a movie in itself, I mean, it was a pretty good movie. I didn't get into it as much, but I could definitely tell it's one of those movies that doesn't really need a sequel, you know? And even though, yes, I know P.L. Travers, who, you know, if you heard the whole story about the battle between her and Walt Disney to make the original Mary Poppins movie, I know she wrote sequels, but the thing about Disney's Mary Poppins was that it was such a definitive movie that I could never see it getting a sequel. You know, it's like if somebody said, let's make a sequel to, like, A Clockwork Orange or a sequel to Citizen Kane. It just doesn't feel like a movie that needs to be touched. You know what I mean? Like, I was even saying the same thing with Blade Runner 2049, where when I heard there was going to be a sequel, I'm just like, no, why? And then I went to go see it, and it was just like, damn, Denis Villeneuve have actually got really close to making a movie in the same vein as the original. Like, his dark style, like the way he's able to handle quiet scenes and intense conversations, really fits Blade Runner. So, but now that we're going from talking about you know, sequels that I didn't think we need into sequels that turned out to be actually pretty good, that's what I'm hoping with Mary Poppins, because, you know, Mary Poppins isn't like a movie that you would look at and think, you know, oh, corporate sequel, you know. Well, there's definitely a lot that goes into Mary Poppins, and there's a lot of, like, genuine good feeling and, you know, lesson learning. I will be totally transparent in saying the Feed the Bird song doesn't make me cry. Like, I'm a very weird person when it comes to crying scenes. What works for me is I don't have to cry when scenes get really emotional. My stupid foot. Let's stop falling asleep. I just have to be, you know, affected. You know, I still have to be touched. Which Feed the Birds definitely does that for me, but it's just, it doesn't make me cry per se. Which, I'm sorry, I know it was Walt Disney's favorite song, but you know, hey, I can have you know, my own personal taste, or maybe I'm just grown up as a fucked up person. But anyway, had a lot to say going into Mary Poppins Returns. That is to say, looking at it, I'm not going to say I'm looking at it and think, oh, corporate sequel, mwahaha, we're Disney, we're making money. Like, I'll totally be transparent in saying this doesn't feel like that kind of a case. And, oh yeah, there was actually another Disney reboot I saw really recently, and that was, I finally saw the 2017 Beauty and the Beast. And that one I felt was going to be a corporate sequel. And then when I watched it, it wasn't actually that bad. I actually thought it was pretty good. The only thing was that I thought it was really fast-paced, and there were a couple scenes that I felt that could have been cut from the film. And also, tonally-wise, it was a tad inconsistent, but it still felt, you know, fun, and it still felt deeply moving when it needed to be. So, if Mary Poppins Returns, which I honestly think it has more potential because it's a sequel, not, you know, a reimagining of material that didn't need to be reimagined or something like that. So, and the premise of Mary Poppins Returns, I'll be totally honest, I honestly like the premise. Like, the basic idea of what happened is, you remember the two Banks kids, Jane and Michael, right? Well, Michael has grown up, had a wife, and now has his own kids, and the wife passed away, and now Michael's family is, you know, on hard times, and that's why Mary Poppins has come back. I will say I'm a little concerned with what are they going to do this time, because is it just going to be like the same shtick as the last time, you know, where they have all sorts of these wonderful adventures, but the only difference is what Poppins is trying to fix is different, but the way she does it is exactly the same. I mean, who knows? We'll just have to see. I mean, we probably won't know the specifics of that. And holy shit, we got past the 10-minute mark, and I'm swearing a lot in this video, so we won't know the specifics obviously until the movie comes out. But for now, let's see what Mary Poppins Returns has to offer. At this point, I do have more to say, but I know I've been going on for far too long, so sorry about that. Let's get into the actual teaser trailer. Cherry Tree Lane look never looks sad. Wait, why is the kite down there? I know that's not Dick Van Dyke. I believe that's...
Mary Poppins, it is wonderful to see you.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Alright, that was a pretty nice trailer. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna check out the Nutcracker trailer. It's not really my cup of tea. But okay, it's a pretty neat introduction. I'm honestly more impressed than I'm sounding. But yeah, and I know Julie Andrews herself personally approves of Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins. So it's so weird because it's like, I know Mary isn't supposed to be a complete like super jealous. She's supposed to be like, she has a good heart, but at the same time she could be like pretty strict too. Like when she like denies that she went horse riding with the children in that really neat scene from the original, or when they're first jumping into painting. Poppins was telling Bert, oh, that's not how you do it. Or, well, not in the way I said it, but I think you get the idea. But it's definitely the kind of trailer that puts a smile on your face. I mean, they're definitely giving us the impression that, hey, we're, being, legit. We're still trying to be, you're bringing Mary Poppins into the 21st century, and we're doing it the right way. So, yeah, it's definitely a good trailer. I do like how they're not, they're not gonna say, hey, we're gonna put, all our eggs in one basket in this one trailer. We're just gonna sink your teeth into it. You know what I'm saying? It's so weird though, because I don't associate Emily Blunt with being like, a singer. I know she's a, good actress. Like, she was in movies like The Edge of Tomorrow and many more that I can't name off the top of my head. I know the guy who plays the adult Michael Banks, and that is, I know him. He played Q in Skyfall. Emily Blunt is Mary Poppins. Colin Firth is in this movie. Dick Van Dyke as Mr. Dawes Jr. I mean, it's so funny how, like, Dick Van Dyke was easily one of my favorite characters from the original Mary Poppins. I mean, Bert, I should say. And, even though, yeah, his Cockney accent was really bad, I mean, hey, I can't do it any better. he was still a really enjoyable character. As Doug Walker puts it, he's just enjoyable in how he's just happy to have, like, air in his lungs. Oh, Ben Whishaw, yeah, he plays Michael Banks, and he plays Q. I don't think, like, his portrayal of Q in Skyfall is a good assessment, because that's a much more serious character. But yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda as Jack. Jack is basically the replacement for Bert. But yeah, but it is really nice that Dick Van Dyke is coming in for, I believe he said it was a cameo, and interestingly, Julie Andrews won't even be making a cameo. Although, yeah, I think they wanted her to cameo as the new Bird Lady. Don't quote me on that. I just heard that from somewhere, but she turned it down. But still, I think it is. They have a good cast, and the songwriters they got, who I've honestly, the name sounds familiar, Michael Shaman and Scott Whitman. Shaman worked on Hairspray Live. Well, let me actually go into the full history before I get into jokes. He worked on Smash. He's definitely worked on, like, music, his music cut out, and apparently he worked on Blame Canada for South Park Bigger, Long, and Uncut in the video game. Was it just the video game, or was it the movie also? Wow, he actually, worked on the songs. I thought it was all Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Just saying, you guys, I know Blame Canada is a really funny song, but, my personal favorite from the South Park movie is It's Easy MK, so, in case you guys ever wanted to know that. So, yeah, I think what I'm getting from this trailer is that they have good intentions going into this. They're not treating this like a corporate cash-in, Am I saying this is a movie truly made out of passion? I can't say for sure, but I will say it is a good trailer. They have a promising cast and crew. It is probably not going to stand up to the original, but I'm not really expecting it to. And even if it's just they're going to do the same thing again where they go on the adventures, but the only thing that's different is it's now about, like, helping Michael as the father rather than Mr. Banks, Michael's father. Even that in itself is kind of clever. It's like now Michael has to remember what it's like to be a kid, and we've all seen him, as a kid in the original Mary Poppins. So as long as it's well intended and the movie in itself is just fine, like if it's just okay, which it probably will be a pretty good movie, then I'll be totally okay with that. So I just can't picture, like, a Mary Poppins movie just being total trash and it's like the next Nostalgia Critic episode. So, alright guys, this has been Blood Moon Bobby. I am going to be moving on to the Christopher Robin trailer, and I just noticed that Jordan Peele is in my list of suggested videos. I will get to the movie Get Out one of these days. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you later. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.